I would drive one day from Rockford to Peoria, another day Rockford to Ottawa. I would drive down to Effingham, then drive back up to Springfield. I spent one entire day, probably about 320 miles, just driving around the Chicagoland area. I drove 1,000 miles because we as a union need to get the word out about fair share and right to work. And a lot of the members in our local are, like I said, spread all over the state, so you can't just go to one facility and talk to them. You have to actually go to their house and sit down with them. And our local is very diverse. We have over 100 titles and probably 30 different agencies. So we're actually statewide. So the first thing I had to do is I went home and I put a big map of the state of Illinois on my wall, and with thumbtacks I went through and put a thumbtack at every agency somewhere in the state that I dealt with. Well, I would go visit people and explain, ask them to sign a card, and like I said, a lot of times we found out that they just thought they were members when they weren't actually. Ran across a lot of people that had absolutely no clue what right to work or fair share was. They took it for what the media portrayed it to them. And like I said, when you sit down and explain it to them, that right to work has nothing to do with the right to work, and how it's been an attack on the unions for 30 plus years, you open their eyes. And I actually have energized some of the people that were not members at all that now want to be activists and stewards and join the fight. Is a lot of our members just thought they were union members because they worked for the state and the state was in unions. So we also had to institute policies with the employer that they would notify us on a monthly basis of who was hired so that we could contact them right away to get them into membership. Our local went, my group, which is mechanics and storekeepers in Illinois, are finally down to just 4 non-members. And given enough time, I will get them.